over 100 countries come to the support of condemning this plan, and the plan could be dead before it's ever been actually read by anyone.
The administration's peace plan had two parts, one economic, the other political. The revelation of the economic side of the plan came first.
A lot of the leading Palestinian business people who we speak to wanted to be here tonight. They were told by the authority not to come, and because they rely on them for their livelihood, it's not a free market where they can make those distinctions.
What will the Arab governments do, like Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Egypt, Jordan? If they like the Trump peace plan, then there'll be pressure on the Palestinians to actually think about it.
The administration had yet further to go. In Bahrain, we had unveiled our economic plan. On the cusp of an unforeseen and historic pandemic, and with political turmoil in Israel, we still had to show the world our political plan.
We were planning to put out the Vision for Peace, as you know very well, already in end of 2018. And then Israel went for elections. And you have a decision to make. Do you want this plan to be seen as a substantive, serious plan that can stand the test of time, or perhaps be caught up in an election?
Or more than one election.
Or more than one election.
Yes.
Here we are, we work and put this plan together, and it's very detailed, very constructive, and yet we're just sitting on it. We again and again and again found is that Israeli elections are not exactly the same as the elections in the United States. You definitely vote for a party. Whichever gets the largest representation is given a mandate to try to build a coalition. And if they're capable of piecing together a coalition, they form a government. But if they can't, they go to another election. This is not something Americans traditionally appreciate. And so we traveled to Israel, and Jared has a meeting with the Prime Minister. We were all there.
It's been dubbed the deal of the century. So far, Israel's Prime Minister giving his stamp of approval.
And all through this time, I mean, the Prime Minister is with us.
It's great that he's with you until he's no longer there to be with you,
Right.
potentially. The night before, one of the members of the party says, no, I will not join with Prime Minister Netanyahu. The coalition breaks apart, and they're going to head to another election. And so we're waiting, and we're waiting. Who knows if they're ever going to form a government? And that sort of sinks into us. It's time to bring this to the president, and it's time to decide, is this plan going to see the light of day? Because there was a possibility, and it's a real one, a real possibility that the plan, because of the political considerations in Israel, other complications that were going around the world, would never have been put forward. And then ultimately the decision is made by the president, and we put out the plan.
Kushner kept putting it off. With Israeli elections this past April and in September, they kept putting it off, but now President Trump has decided, I guess, the time is right.
On January 28, 2020, President Trump announced his plan for peace alongside Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, a month before the COVID pandemic would emerge.
My vision presents a win-win opportunity for both sides.
You have been the greatest friend that Israel has ever had in the White House. And because I believe your peace plan strikes the right balance where other plans have failed, I've agreed to negotiate peace with the Palestinians on the basis of your peace plan.
The Palestinians come out and say, we will not negotiate on this basis, and actually said no to the plan prior to it even being put forth. President Abbas designates a trip to the United Nations to come.
President Abbas to address the Council as part of a diplomatic offensive. The aim is to defeat the Trump plan.
And so then begins, honestly, like working through country by country ways to stop a resolution condemning our plan. Working through the Security Council, because there's 15 members, 5 permanent, 10 that are rotational, and any member of the 5 who are the permanent members can veto a resolution in front of the Security Council. Major diplomatic effort led by Jared in New York to build a consensus, and then you have a little bit of a block.
If it's voted on, the US is bound as a permanent member to use its veto. However, the Palestinians are hoping they'll be isolated, with all the other members of the Security Council either supporting them or abstaining.
That would trigger a vote in the General Assembly. Over 100 countries come to the support of condemning this plan, and the plan could be dead before it's ever been actually read by anyone. And Jared puts out a slide basically showing how the Palestinian leadership, by extending this conflict, has actually been able to raise significant sums. If we just put forward new UN resolutions, we may never actually see a resolution to this conflict. We're able, through strategy and negotiations, to pull away enough countries that the vote doesn't even happen. When we put forward the vision for peace, what you found was that all of these countries in the region, they actually looked at it. Instead of the Palestinians being willing to come to the table and negotiate, what we actually found was other countries sent their ambassadors.
With the ambassadors of the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and Oman, what a pleasure to see you here, and what a sign it portends. I was going to say of the future, what a sign it portends of the present.
Thank you for joining us as we provide a spiritual insight of what God is doing in Israel and in the Middle East. If you want to learn more about what God is doing in Israel, make sure to visit us on our webpage and follow us on social media. Shalom, and God bless you from Jerusalem.